God bless all of you. Vir Navav, God bless you. Thank you so much for joining us. Man, I tell you what, I really could let that music go on and on and on, but I've got to be about the business that we've gathered for on this morning. Patrice Williams, Shauna Livingston, good morning to all of you. Again, God bless you. And praise God for all of you that were thankful for the message that the Spirit of the Lord placed in my spirit to share with you on yesterday. P. Harvey, good morning. Good morning. God bless you. Thank God for all of you. All of you. Once again, if you have not yet hit that subscribe button, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Those of you that just come on, I just want to share with you once again the mug that I'm drinking from this morning was gifted to me by Sister Kendra Wright. Wonderful message. My cup overflows with blessings. Boy, I tell you what, if you can't start your morning with that kind of inspiration, I don't know what's going to inspire you. Praise God. I'm always anticipating the blessings of God just flowing into my life. And as a believer, you have the right to anticipate the blessings of God flowing into your life as well. The Word of God tells us that if you are willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. In other words, when we surrender ourselves totally unto God, and are willing to live and walk according to his word, then blessings will just flow in abundance in our lives. And I'm so glad that God has given me a broad understanding of what it means to be blessed. I don't just compartmentalize my blessings in the form of material things, but we're experiencing the blessings of God right now. Just the fact that we have our health and strength, that we have our right minds. It's a blessing from the Lord, and you should never take those things for granted. I think on last Friday I shared with you that we should be thankful and exercise our faith in the small things as well as the large things or the great things, because God has something to do with everything that occurs in our lives in terms of us prospering and being blessed. And I'm telling you, having peace of mind is a blessing. That's prosperity. Having joy is uh, is a blessing. It's prosperity, and when those things are just overflowing in your lives, you know, if it's overflowing in your life, man, you ought to thank God. Just look around at your family, and if things are well, thank God. Maybe things may not be as well as you desire, but thank God that they are as well as they are, because it is often said that regardless as to how bad you may be, consider the fact that there may just be someone who's just a little worse off than you. Well, this week I want to start off challenging you to take a look at yourself. And some of you have already grabbed a hold to the subject matter this morning, or the title that I'm using: Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. How about that one? Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. And I want to talk to you about holding an honest and healthy perception of yourself. Let me say good morning to Tisha Hillman, who just checked in. God bless you. Again, we're delighted that you all are joining us this morning. It is really, really very important to have both a healthy and a honest perception of yourself. Got to pause for the calls, y'all. First Lady just checked in. She just popped in. Good morning, my dear, darling, lovely wife. I praise God and thank God for her every morning, every day. Praise God for him giving me such a wonderful companion. That's my partner, y'all. That's my lady. That's my boo, and I thank God for her. Balu Kali, God bless you. Good morning to you as well. As I was saying, that it is so important. It is really important that you have both an honest, now notice I'm emphasizing both honest and healthy perception of yourself, because if you don't have both an honest and healthy of perception of yourself, it can lead to you having some destructive ways about yourself. You know, you'll act and conduct yourself in ways that are to your detriment rather than to your good. The first thing I want you to understand is that how you see yourself will likely determine how you see others. People often see others through the lenses of their own experiences, or the lenses of even now what they feel, believe, or think about themselves. I guarantee you uh, that's more so the case than some of us can ever imagine. People have a false sense of who others are because they really don't know who they are, or they are really denying who they really are. They're trying to put on a front and make people think that they're something that they're not, or they're desiring to be something that they're not, but they're not willing to put in the commitment toward becoming who they truly desire to be. And so they live with this frustration. They live with this frustration. They're not pleased with themselves. They're not pleased with what they see of themselves. And so it kind of skews how they view or see others. Listen, how you see others will influence how you interact with others. I want you to really think about that. I want you to really think about that. Again, as I stated, it starts with how you see yourself. If you see yourself as having a great deal of shortcomings or inadequacies, then likely most people that see themselves that way, depending on other things regarding their character, will see other people in a very negative light. What do you mean by that, Bishop? In other words, you don't like yourself, so it is hard for you to like others. And when you've determined that you don't like other people, you're going to interact with that person negatively or treat them badly. That's when you start formulating in your mind things such as, that person thinks that they're this, that, and the other. And it's really not that that person thinks that way, but your perception of that person is that they think that way, because really you're wrestling with yourself. I just noticed that my good friend and brother from Baltimore, Maryland, Bishop Charles Carrington Jr. just popped in. I want to say good morning to my good friend and brother, and he just said something very critical here. He said, "Clear self sight is crucial." That is so true. You got to be able to see yourself clearly before you can clearly see other people. And when you can't clearly see other people, it becomes very difficult for you to appreciate other people. I mean, think about it. I know that some of us have been guilty. I'm saying some of us because I don't want to make it look like I'm pointing a finger. I really, most time, for the most, I don't have this kind of problem. But some people are guilty of disliking others just because they don't really know why. If you ask them, why don't you like that person? Well, it's just something about them. Well, what is it about them? Well, I don't know, but it's just something. Just look at them. Just look at them. Really, the problem is not with the other person, but the problem is with you if you have that type of perception of other people. I mean, think about it. How is it that you can uh, dislike someone uh, so bad when that individual has never done anything to you. They're just being who they are. And because you're envious of how they project themselves, how they carry themselves, how other people interact with them, how they seem to be able to get along with everybody else, and most people seem to like them. You've concluded that you don't like them simply because other people like them so much, and it's not them. Again, it's likely you. Now, I'm not talking to you in particular, but if I am talking to you, I am talking to you in particular. But if I'm not talking to you in particular, don't be offended by what I'm saying to you right now, because I'm really not addressing you, but I am addressing you if you are guilty of what I'm talking about. Got it? Okay, don't ask me to repeat that. But again, I mean, think about this. Think about this. Because you don't like yourself, you are transferring your self dislike onto other people. Listen, having an unhealthy perception of yourself may very well lead to having unhealthy relationships with others. Now, that's something that people who have that unhealthy perception of themselves need to really consider and wrap that around their minds. But then people who do have healthy perceptions of themselves need to wrap this around their mind as well, because sometimes it answers the question as to why certain people feel about you the way they feel about you. It really has nothing to do with you. Sometimes what we need to do in situations like that is exercise a sense of sympathy for that individual. What do you mean? I mean, you have to somewhat feel sorry for them. And because you feel a bit sorry for them, you have to learn how to exercise patience with that individual, and know that in the final analysis, it's really not you. The attack is not really on you, although it's being directed toward you. It's not really about you. This person that is doing this toward you or acting this way toward you, they're dealing with some internal struggles that they really don't know how to resolve. And that's where the unhealthiness comes in. That's where it comes in. And let me suggest to you, those of you who've been living with that kind of burden, you have this unhealthy perception of yourself. Let me suggest to you that it might be good that you sit out and talk with someone. Work through the situation, talk through the situation, get to the root of what's really your problem. Because sometimes you're acting this way, people act this way, and they really don't know why. There are some deep seated things, there are some things that are rooted way down on the inside. These things were planted early in your life, and you're not even aware of it. You have no idea what's really going on. And sometimes you need to just talk through some things. Just talk through some things. Sit down with someone who has a heart of compassion, a heart of concern, a person that can be both sympathetic and empathetic, who can relate to whatever struggles that you are having without having to judge you, or come to some unnecessary conclusion about you. But they can just sit and allow you to talk and help you to unpeel those layers that you've insulated your problem with. Some of us take things and we layer it rather than rid ourselves of it. Those type of things, those deep rooted, deep seated thoughts and dispositions that you may be carrying, they need to be eradicated. They need to be totally rooted out, because if they're not rooted out, then you'll continuously live in the bondage to that type of thinking and that type of feeling. And you will never experience the peacefulness of life that you really desire, because you'll be carrying around this struggle, this weight, this thing that is haunting you, and because of what you're carrying, you'll treat others poorly. You know, some marriages could be much better if the individuals within the marriage would just get to the root of their personal issues or personal problems. Sometimes we want to place the blame on the other spouse when in reality we haven't dealt with our own issues. You know, and you know, for some reason or another, it's just human nature to want to blame somebody else for the issues we're having in our own lives. But that doesn't cause healing to take place. That doesn't resolve the issue. That doesn't allow you or free you to coexist in a healthy relationship with your spouse or with a friend or with other family members. You've got to get to the root of the situation yourself. Now, the purpose for getting to the root is not to find blame or find or discover who to blame the situation on. But the purpose for getting to the root is to answer the questions why. And once you answer the questions why, then you can begin to lay out a path toward healing and freeing yourself from those things that have been so detrimental to your well-being to this point in your life. Again, some people may not be fully conscious of it, but some people just do not like themselves. They do not like who they are. They do not like what they have become. And they truly don't really know how they got to be where they presently are. Ironically, the negative perception they unconsciously have of themselves is often manifested by the negativity that they direct toward and onto others around them. Some people are not really seeing the person that they are projecting themselves to be. They don't see themselves. You know, sometimes some people get very surprised when others start to tell them how they project themselves. They'll respond when others come and tell them, "Do you realize you're this way? You're that way. You're the other." Who, me? You act this way. You act that way. Me? Yes, you. Yeah, and in this day and time, you know, I know back in the day we didn't have this luxury, but in this day and time we got all these phones with cameras and videos and all that. Every now and then, sometimes I feel like just taking my phone and just videoing some people and then showing themselves to themselves, letting them see what they really look like when they interact with other people. Listen, think about this. If there was a hidden camera that you were totally unaware of following you around all day, at the end of the day, what do you think or expect to see of yourself as it pertains to how you're interacting with other people? Can I just talk about me for a minute? Is it okay? All right, thank you. Appreciate that. One of the things that I believe, that if someone followed me around, unbeknownst to me with a hidden camera, that most of the time you will see a smile on my face as I encounter other people. You will see me pleasantly greet other people. I try to be polite and courteous toward other people. I'm that person that will stand at the door of an establishment while people are coming in. If they're coming in behind me, I will stand there and hold the door and let the people come on in. Or if I'm going out and people are coming in, I will stand and hold the door and allow people to come in. I'll do it for males, I'll do it for females. It doesn't matter. They're people. That's how I interact with other people. And one of the reasons why I can do that is because I feel good about other people, because I feel good about myself. And then the other thing about that, one of the reasons that causes me to do that and motivates me to do that is because I try to treat other people the way I want to be treated. But think about this, consider this. If a person is constantly feeling as though they are being beat down and beat up and nobody loves them and nobody cares for them, what do you think that they're going to reflect on to other people? All of that negativity. And they may not even realize that that's what they're doing. If you were to sit down and ask them a question or interview them about how they interact with other people, they would probably tell you, well, I'm just being me. I don't really think about that. I'm just being me. And that's probably the most honest statement that they could make. They are just being themselves. But who they are just happens to reflect a lot of negative attributes about themselves. Some people just aren't self-aware. And I believe that self-awareness is so important, especially in terms of interacting with other people. If you're going to succeed in life, if you're going to experience any kind of reasonable success in life, I think it's so important that you have a self-awareness in terms of who you really are. You need to consciously know how you are presenting yourself. Now, if you're going to make an honest assessment of yourself, you're going to need a mirror to do so. Not a window, but a mirror. See, the problem is a lot of people look at life or view life through a window rather than a mirror. They're always looking into the lives of other people. They're always off in somebody else's business. And when they're always looking out of their window rather than looking into their mirror, they find reasons of being critical of other people, always evaluating other people rather than assessing themselves. You're wasting a whole lot of time and energy, valuable time and energy, when you're spending more time evaluating, assessing, and critiquing other people than you are yourself. Again, transparency. I am one of my biggest critics. I'm very critical of myself, not unreasonably critical to the point where I'm self-loathing, if you will, and that I'm always walking around in a pity party. But I critique myself all the time. Some of you probably can't relate to this. And I know that people at times may think that it's a form of vanity, but occasionally I do go back and listen to my own sermons. I'm listening to my own sermons, not to pat myself on the back and to say how well I did things, but I'm actually looking for areas that I could improve myself on. Improve on the delivery. Make sure that I'm presenting things or delivering the message in a way that I would want to listen to me if I wasn't me. Does that make sense? And here's the bad part about that. Sometimes I pick my own presentation apart. Oh, Tommy, you could have done that better. You should have done this better. You should have said this. You should have said that. You didn't pronounce that word right. Um, that's one of the weaknesses of mine, in that I can be hard on myself because I want to be a perfectionist. That's just one of my character traits. I'm always striving for perfection. Now, some people might say that's a strength, not a weakness. Well, sometimes it can be a weakness. I can remember the first time I got a B in one of my classes in seminary. Oh, I was frustrated. I was upset. How in the world did I wound up with a B? All the work I put into doing in this course, how did I wind up with a B? I gave it my all. I put my everything into it, you know, and I wound up with a B. And I was just happened to be having this conversation with my administrative assistant, Sister LaShawn Moore. And she sat there and she was listening to me. I said, man, this is going to mess up my transcript and everything. This B on here, I was trying to keep a certain GPA. And she quietly said to me in her little own demeanor, she goes, Pastor, you know, when you get your degree, it's not going to have your GPA or your grades posted on it. It's going to state basically that you have done the work that was required of you and that you earned the degree. Gave me an entirely different perspective on my approach to my education. It said to me, as long as I do the best that I can and I meet all the requirements set forth by the school, then I don't have to brood or stress out over not being perfect all the time. Now, where am I going with this? Sometimes when you have those kind of idiosyncrasies, those kind of hangups or whatever, that kind of thing can be projected on other people as well. Why? Because since you expect yourself to be perfect all the time, you therefore hold people around you to be as perfect as you may think you are. Y'all, listen, I'm being very, very, very transparent here. And that can somewhat influence how you interact with people, how you interact with your coworkers, how you interact with employees, those that may work under you if you are in managerial or supervisory position. And so sometimes you have to stop and assess yourself. Think about who you are. Stop looking at everybody else. Start to deal with your own personal issues or hang-ups that you have that you might be projecting onto other people. Deal with those things. Look at yourself. And once you do that, then you can start to establish healthy relationships with other people. I want to remind you that a mirror is an instrument used to reflect true image of the object in the mirror. And the mirror, y'all have heard this before, does not lie. The mirror does not lie. The mirror can only reflect the image that is in the mirror. Nothing more, nothing less. The mirror will serve the image in the mirror either as a friend or as a foe. The mirror, check this out, y'all, has absolutely no sense of discretion. It has no concern for whether you love or hate what is being reflected in the mirror. The mirror just says, I'm going to do my job. and show you the real deal. This is what you look like. And you know, honestly, I've known some people who literally try to stay away from mirrors as though they're vampires. Why? Because they really don't like what they see. Now, I want you to understand something else about that mirror. The mirror does not expose, but it does reflect. And the reflection is exact. You know, doesn't expose. Because when you come to the mirror, everything that is to be exposed is already exposed. The mirror just says, let me show you what is being exposed of you. Let me show you what others see of you. Let me allow you to see how you are presenting yourself to other people. This person probably thought I wasn't going to bring this up today, but I think I shall. I have one of our dear darling members that she loves to give me a hard time all the time. But she told me that during one of my sessions last week that my shirt was not buttoned properly. And I told her, oh, but it was. She said, no, it wasn't. I said, oh, but it was. And the reason why I know that it was is because before I come on, even with you all, I checked myself in the mirror first a couple of different times. Then once I checked myself in the mirror, I do a video preview check to see how I'm being presented. And so my wife decided, she said, I'm going to go back. I'm going to settle this argument. My wife decided to go back and find the video that she was talking about. And initially, my wife said, well, the shirt is buttoned wrong. I said, look at it again. It is not buttoned wrong. Look at it again. What happened in the midst of my excitement and my movement, my shirt began to move around and it gave off the appearance of being out of sorts. So what's your point there, Bishop? When you see yourself in the mirror, when you take those constant assessments of yourself, when you become confident in how you present yourself, other people's perceptions of you may be obscured. But you need to know with a certainty that you are who you are because you've viewed yourself, you've seen yourself, you've seen your flaws, and you've worked on making the adjustments. I wasn't going to bust her out, but First Lady just busted Sister Joyce Lee out. Yeah, Sister Joyce gave me a hard time yesterday, you know, trying to tell me that I didn't have it all together. You know, now there may be times where everything may not be all together, but the beauty is I can go back to the mirror time and time again, and every time I see something out of place, I can make an adjustment. That's the way we should be with our own lives. We should be able to make adjustments. When we see something in the mirror that is not quite right, that does not satisfy our appearance or satisfy what we see, make the adjustments. It is simple as that. That's when the mirror becomes your friend. It becomes your friend when you go into the mirror looking for yourself, looking to find whatever flaws may surface, and you take the time to make the adjustment. That's when the mirror becomes your friend. But it's your foe if you don't like what you see, but you just continue to ignore it. Well, I'm not going to look in the mirror no more because I don't want to see that anymore. Some people don't want to see themselves for who they really are. You know? When my hair started thinning, the mirror wasn't my friend because I would do certain things hoping to experience some restoration in the area of thinning. And after I would do what I would do, wait a period of time and go back to that mirror, and I would see the same picture that I saw the last time. My hair was still as thin as it was the last time I looked in the mirror, and in some instances, it appeared to be even thinner. So I did not enjoy looking in the mirror during that period of time because I didn't like the thinning of my hair. But when I finally came to the resolve that I'd rather cut it all off than to have it grow in patches, I made an adjustment wherein I could start going back to the mirror and enjoying my time in the mirror because things are more presentable now. Now, watch this. Other people may not like my bald head, but First Lady loves my bald head. Praise God for that. And because she loves it, I love it, we love it, that's all that matters. We love loving it. How about that? But again, it took me to look into the mirror to say, okay, I don't like what I see, so I'm going to make an adjustment. And watch this. I made a permanent adjustment. I made a permanent adjustment. You know, y'all don't see me walking around with my head clean one Sunday and then a couple of weeks later look like I'm about to grow a fro, a halo fro. Y'all know what a halo fro is? It's a fro with a great big hole in it. Walking around looking like you auditioning to be an angel. Okay, all right. Made the adjustment. Made the adjustment. Again, the mirror doesn't expose, but it reflects. It's exact. The mirror cannot lie. What is in the mirror is real. You may not be satisfied with your reality, but don't be that person who denies your true reality. Don't be that person. Denying it won't change it. When you deny it, you'll never make any adjustments because as long as you're denying it, you're not acknowledging the need to make an adjustment in terms of who you are presenting yourself to be. People that are in denial are unwilling to admit who they really are. And that's sad, to go through all of your life denying who you really are when you can make some changes to who you really are, and you can actually become who you desire to be. No. See, now, Brother David Blaze, Deacon David, he done popped up in the chat room talking about go ahead and get that special hair. No, I'm not the fake dude. I know they got all this stuff where they can put on bald guys and make them look like they got flat tops and a lot of hair and all that. But I'd rather be all natural. Okay? I'm not that person. Now again, y'all, please don't take that the wrong way. I think women do a wonderful job. They can do the cosmetic thing, and they can be very, very, very beautiful in their presentation. And if men decide to do that's you. But make sure you're real about who you are trying to present yourself to be. And then once you do that, own it. Own it. Own it. Be who you are. Now, here's another point I want to share with you, and I hope this will be a blessing to you as well. The image in the mirror only becomes distorted when there's a defect in the mirror, or when the mirror is created to reflect distortions. Y'all remember back in the day when you would go to the carnival and you would go into the fun house with all the crazy mirrors, and you'd walk in there and you see yourself in all kind of weird, odd, funny looking shapes. You know, short people love to go to the mirrors that made them look real tall. Fat people love to go to the mirrors that made them look real skinny. Skinny people sometimes went to the mirror that made them look fat so they could see how they would look if they started to gain weight. You know, they were meant to distort the viewer's perception. That's a defective mirror, really, honestly. It's a defective mirror because it's not reflecting the true image. And some people are living lives through the perception of their distorted or defective mirrors. Those defective mirrors will distort your perception. And the distortions can be to the negative, but then some distortions can create a false positive reality as well. You're believing that you're something that you're really not because you're looking through a distorted mirror. Yeah. Cause you to believe you're more than who you really are. Mirrors are for personal use only. The mirror is to be used for you to see yourself only. I've given this analogy before, wherein my wife and I, in our master bathroom, we have dual sinks. She's got her side, I've got my side. She's got her half of the mirror, I've got my half of the mirror. Then we have one great big large mirror that practically fills up the room, seems like. But even when the both of us are in the same large mirror, neither of us are looking for the other person. We're only looking for ourselves. I never take her to the mirror and say, let's go over here so I can see what you look like. I don't need to do that. Just stand there and look at her. But if she wants to see what she looks like, she's got to go to the mirror so she can see for herself what she looks like. And then I'll tell you another thing. Because of the way our bathroom is set up, and there are mirrors on various walls, we're able to see ourselves from various angles. I can stand in a certain part of my bathroom, and I can see in front of me and behind me on the side of me all at the same time. You need, for your life, mirrors surrounding you so you can see yourself from multiple angles. But the important thing is that you are seeing yourself. The reality is, if you're seeing more than yourself, then you're seeing too much, or your focus is in the wrong area. You know, what would I look like trying to correct First Lady about her attire if mine is all jacked up? Think about this. You know, I'm trying to tell her about her flaws, and I'm sitting there flawed myself. I better check myself first, because when I check myself first, it gives me a little bit more credibility to offer up a little wisdom in terms of helping her fully get herself together. But see, the difference there is I'm not critiquing her to put her down. I'm critiquing her if I do critique her, and believe you me, First Lady don't need no critiquing, Y'all know that she takes care, she does her fashion stuff quite well. She does a good job. All I have to do is when she finishes getting dressed to say, amen, amen. I say, amen, it is so. It is finished. No, but I'm just giving an example here. If I take care of myself first and I got myself together, then it lends more credibility to me being of assistance if she needs my assistance to help her present herself in the way that she desires to present herself. And every now and then, even though you got mirrors, every now and then it's okay to ask someone that you trust who's going to be candid with you, who's going to be forthright with you, who doesn't have a jealous spirit about themselves, but holds your interests at heart, your true interests at heart. It's okay to ask them, what do you think about this? How am I presenting myself? Again, when you're seeing more than yourself, you're seeing too much. Focus on who you are. Stop comparing yourself to other people. And let me ask you, what good does it do for you to compare yourself to other people? What do you accomplish by doing so? Tell me, why are some people so occupied with what's going on in other people's lives? Why is that? You need to focus more on what's going on in your life. Don't be a fault finder only, finding faults in others. Focus on your own faults. Address your own mistakes rather than mistakes of others. Consider your own mistakes before you are so bent on holding the mistakes of others over their heads. Think about that. It gets me. It gets me when I hear of people being so bent out of shape about things that don't even concern them. Another moment of transparency. Another moment of transparency. Sometimes divorcees can be perpetually victimized. I know some of you have experienced friends that you know that have gotten a divorce, and their divorce may have occurred several years ago, but you're still holding it against one or the other. You upset because somebody that you weren't married to got a divorce. What difference of that is it of yours? How is that your business? Again, moment of transparency. First Lady and I both have gone through divorces, but we've been married now to each other. It'll be 25 years in June. Do you not know that people still have the audacity to bring up and have issue with my divorce, the divorce that I went through? Why should that be of anybody's concern? And let me tell you something. If you've never been through a divorce, believe you me, it's not a ride in the park. It's not a stroll through the garden. It's not a ride on the riverboat. It's like being in the midst of a tornadic storm. If you got any kind of sense, you'll avoid divorce at all costs. Sometimes it cannot be avoided. But what's amazing to me is how so many people who were on the outside of that marriage relationship think they know so much about the inside of that marriage relationship. And they're blaming this couple for having gone their separate ways. But the question is, while you're harping on, let me use myself, my divorce, tell me, how many boyfriends have you had over the past 25 years? Uh-oh, I'm about to get real, y'all. Y'all got to hold on. How many people have you slept with that nobody knows about. So before you start opening your mouth about somebody else's failed divorce, look in the mirror. Evaluate yourself. I'm not talking to y'all. I'm talking about them other mean people. Some of y'all probably say, ooh, that's a little bit too true. I told y'all I'm going to keep it real with you all. I mean, think about it. And think about the next time somebody comes up to you and start wanting to talk to you about something that does not concern them. Be bold enough to say, well, okay, so how does that concern you? Okay, so how many relationships have you been with? And watch this. According to the Bible, oh my gosh, y'all not going to like this. According to the Bible, everybody you sleep with, that person you've been married to. That's a marriage. Anybody that you've slept with and had relationship with, you've literally been married to. So how many times have you been married now? I mean, so I'm just trying to tell you, before you start to run down somebody else, look in your mirror. Stop trying to find fault in other people. I believe it was the Williams brothers, the gospel group. I believe it was them that sang the song, "Sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep around mine." Jesus says, how can you pull the mote out of your brother's eye when you got a beam stuck in yours? First, get that beam out of your eye. Stop trying to assess somebody else. Look in your mirror and be honest with yourself. Man, I know I just made some people mad right there. I know I upset some folk right there. Y'all be wanting me to be transparent. I'm being transparent. I'm being honest. See, this is real talk here. People don't always get this kind of talk in church. Now, we might be the church, but we're not in church right now. I'm just sharing with you some real talk. Here's the last thing I want to leave you with. You remember back in the day? And some people still believe this. You break a mirror, you're going to have 7 years bad luck. Y'all heard that? Broken mirrors don't lead to bad luck. They lead to bad life. Think about that. If you're viewing your life through a broken mirror, you're going to have a miserable life. You'll never know who you are. You'll never know who you are projecting yourself to be. And you will go through life projecting all of your negativity that is bottled up in you. You'll be projecting it onto someone else. And I guarantee you, if you go through life like that, by the time you get to the end of your life, you will have lived the most miserable and pitiful life that you could have ever imagined. Well, that's my thought for today. I hope y'all not too mad to join me tomorrow. I hope y'all not too upset. If y'all really appreciated what's been shared today, how about hitting those thumbs up buttons before you sign off? Hit those like buttons. Let people know that you appreciate it. You still can contact me through my email, theshepherd@canaanwc.org. It's open. It's there just for you. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit the subscribe button. Thank you, Sister Tisha, for putting that message in the chat room. All of that information I just shared with you is up now. You can copy that link and go to the link and send your questions or concerns or even now topics that you would like to hear discussed. Send them to us. And as the Spirit of the Lord allows me to, I will get to those things. God bless you, all of you, for you showing your appreciation for what I've shared here. Again, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, share it with somebody else. I want you to know that I love you. I'm yet praying for you. We look forward to opening our registration for this Sunday's service soon. As soon as you get the notification, as soon as you get the text message, don't hesitate. Go ahead and register. But again, people, please understand. Please do not register, take up that space, and not show up. I'm letting you all know, real talk. Some of you have done it 2 Sundays in a row already. You will be getting a notification that when you go in, your registration is not going to be immediately accepted. We're going to allow other people to fill those spaces first. And then if there is room left, then we'll put you in. Okay? God bless all of you. God bless all of you. Again, I love you. We're praying for you. And my prayer today is that you have a blessed and wonderful rest of the day. God bless.